Hi, everyone. In the sixth Fetter, we talk a lot about the perceptual changes that can happen in all of our sense fields, but in particular, one that really stumps people is when we talk about the visual field and the perception of distance or space, depth. There's an idea that it's something really magical and mystical, that all of a sudden this three-dimensional world collapses down to two, and then everything is super, super close right in my face, and it becomes claustrophobic, and I can never go back, and all of these exaggerations and myths have kind of arisen around it. But really, what we're pointing to is that the visual field is always happening extremely, extremely close. This perception of depth that we have is just the brain adding this extra layer on it based off of a whole number of complicated processing factors. But the reason I'm making this video, because we have talked about this a lot, and we've made so many pointers and other tools to show you these sorts of things. But specifically, when we talk about zero distance, or that closer than close, the perceptual field where the vision is right here, closer than anything else, I think I've come up with another way of pointing this out, where this field is actually happening. So please do this safely. I want you to look at a light source, but not the sun, not a bare bulb. Pick something that is preferably like a dim lamp with a shade on it, or battery-powered candle, fairy lights, the moon, something which is relatively bright enough, but is not going to actually damage your vision. If you can have it at least 10 feet away, the further the better, but place it, across the room if possible. Or again, in the case of the moon, that's probably also a really nice one. I want you to just stare at this dim light source for a few seconds, and then close your eyes. And you'll notice the after image appears, right? This is something that I'm sure you have seen countless times every day, and yet you have always taken for granted the fact that after images appear. Where are those after images appearing? Are they happening out there at 10 feet, 30 feet, or at the moon's distance? No. Where do they actually look like they're appearing to you now? If we open our eyes again and look at that lamp or the moon or the candle, you can see it seems to really have a distance out there, right? It seems to be across the room. It seems to be far away. Look at it for a few more seconds and then close your eyes. Where do you see those after images? Aren't they so close that they feel like they're happening behind the face? Like they are right here. You can very clearly tell that those images are not appearing outside of you. They're not happening out across the room in the same location as the light source. This is where all of your visual field is happening. This image that shows up when you close your eyes is where all of your visual images are appearing. We just don't notice it because the brain is so good at creating this external world away from this thin screen. I have another video. I'll put a link somewhere. There, someplace. I'm not sure exactly how to do that yet. There will be a link to another video that I did where I talk about closing one eye and noticing with your open eye that everything that is happening out there is happening at the exact same plane as the darkness, that sort of mottled color that's behind the closed eye. And this is another way of getting at that same idea, that everything that you see, regardless of whether the hand is here or the moon is way out there, it's all happening on this same plane of vision. And it's all happening much, much closer than this hand. It is all as close as it can possibly get. One way you can go a little deeper with this is to notice that after image. So take a look at the light, get it ingrained a little bit. Close your eyes, and when that after image shows up, notice if there is anything behind it, not behind in the direction of the light source, but behind the body. In that perspective that we have, that there is somebody viewing the world, we have that idea that there is somebody viewing even those after images. But is there? Is there anything that can be seen that is separate from the visual field? Is there any watcher or witnesser in there who is seeing those after images? Or are they just this stark brightness that just shows up in the middle of this big open darkness? That's all. That's the spot that we're talking about. That is this zero distance, is where it all is. And the more we play with this, the more we get used to exploring it, the more you can start to recognize that even with the eyes open, with all of the panorama of colors and shapes and objects, that is all in fact happening right here. But it doesn't mean that it has to stay like that forever either. It's something that we can kind of shift in and out of. It's something that is always there, and it brings with it this greater wisdom about the fact that there is no witnesser in here seeing anything out there. It is literally just the visual field being experienced by the visual field. We don't have a good way of talking about it. But in the scene, simply the scene. It is just the visual field popping up and appearing here, wherever that is. And it's a very subjective experience as far as where that even is, because it's definitely not out there. Nobody else can see that space for you, right? There is only one experience of that. So play around with this safely, please, and feel free to comment and let us know in the comment section whether it worked, which tips you find to be the most useful for seeing that collapsing of distance or space in the sixth fetter. Also, please feel free to like and subscribe if you find these videos helpful. Share them with other people. We're doing this to, try to help spread awareness and awakening as far as possible. And it really does help when other people will share our videos and like them and spread it around themselves too, because there's only so much one algorithm can do. With that, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all very well. Bye.